Welcome to Krakow, Poland. I don't think I could come here without coming down towards the Jewish district and telling a wee bit of the story here. You probably know quite a lot about this place. I've watched a few videos online. It is quite emotional when you come here. Let me show you where I am. Okay, so I'll give you a wee bit of history of this, what the chairs represent. I've watched a few videos on this and I've researched a wee bit online. It's a really sad story actually, and all these chairs represent, we're in the equivalent, the translation I think is Hero Square. That's the translation. I was just speaking to a guy over there, and this represents all the people who had to leave Krakow. Krakow back in the day used to have, well, before the Second World War, I think I had 80,000 Jewish people living in the Jewish quarter, thriving, doing very well. And then obviously the Nazis came in, and the rest unfortunately was not great. This represents a lot of the people who had to leave here, all these chairs just sitting here. I'm going to show you one chair in a wee second, which is very symbolic. You can see there's quite a few walking tours here as well. I'm going to be walking around towards the Jewish district in a wee minute as well. I came here quite late. I'm hoping I can get round here before it gets dark. But this is obviously a place where I'd imagine loads of Jewish people come back here, pay their respects to all the people who basically were moved out of Krakow or moved into the ghetto, just round the corner, the ghetto. 15,000 people moved in there, and it was only designed for 3,000 people. This represents all the people who had to leave their belongings, etc., leave their family behind even sometimes. And this square was very symbolic. You see the years up there, 1941 to 1943. Up here, this wee building here is where you would queue, you would line up. You could line up for hours upon hours, and obviously the Jewish people were so weak because they'd been starved in the ghetto, and they would line up here and they would wait to see if they could get the stamp that would show that they're fit to work. And if they didn't get the stamp, basically they would get sent away to the nearby concentration camps, including Auschwitz, which unfortunately we know how that ended with the terrible deaths of so many thousands of people. So Krakow has got a very important history with the Jewish people who were here previously. Only I think about 10% only survived after the war, about 3,000. We'll talk about that maybe later on when we get out to another place. But the interesting thing here is there's one chair that's looking this way, and this is basically representing the alley down here where a lot of the Nazis would just randomly, for no reason, kill a lot of the Jewish people in this wee alley down here. So it's such a sad story. I don't think I can do it justice even telling you about it. We might have time to go around to Oskar Schindler's factory, etc., and I'll tell you about how he saved so many people here. But it's such a sad place. I've not made it to Auschwitz, so I just thought I had to come down here and show you just a wee bit. I don't think I could come to Krakow without showing you just a wee bit of this area and what's going on here. We'll go around to the Jewish quarter, we'll see where we end up, but very sad story indeed. Unfortunately, when they actually liquidated the Jewish Ghetto, I think it was 1943, they decided they were just going to obviously do away with it. There was 15,000 people living in the ghetto. It's only designed for 3,000 people, so people were starving to death as well as obviously being killed in other ways. And she was saying that when they decided to get rid of everything in the ghetto, Schindler's List actually was filmed right here, and you'd have seen a scene in the film where they depicted this, the very sad sight where basically the Nazis were getting in and just trying to get everybody out of the ghettos, and obviously people were trying to flee. There's a very interesting story at the end here as well, which I'll tell you about just in a wee second when we get down to it. But yeah, it's not very often on the channel there's some kind of genuinely sad stories like that, but you also have to remind yourself of history and what can happen in the future, because unfortunately you just never know what can happen. Very sad that there has been some Jewish people who have come back and settled here after the war, etc. It's never obviously regained the population it had before, and Interestingly enough, if you watch Schindler's List, the film, Oskar Schindler, who first started the factory for profit reasons, from what I've read, then obviously he could see what was happening with all the people who were working there, and he employed Jewish people to get them out of the concentration camps and to try and protect them, try and feed them better as well. And then when his factory get moved, he actually, when they were getting moved to another concentration camp, he built a sub-camp to try and keep them in better conditions, and argued needed them to work there. So I think there was 1,100 Jewish people who worked in the factory out of 1,700, and effectively he saved all those people. So if you watch the film at the end, Schindler's List, you'll see some of the people and their families who still survive to this day, who are at the end of the film. It's a really powerful film, I must say that. And there's a story as well about a guy who kept a pharmacy open just around here. Most of the people in the Jewish ghetto moved out and round about, but there was still a couple of people here helping all the people, and it really is an inspirational story. It's just round here somewhere, I'm not 100% sure. Let me try and find it and I'll get the details for you, okay? I actually get mixed up here. The pharmacy actually is right in the corner here, which has got a very interesting story. What passed it earlier on, there was loads of people standing outside. It's now a museum. At one point it was a bar, but it was a private pharmacy from 1910. And I'll show you a wee bit of the information here on the wall, okay? There's a wee plaque, obviously in his memory as well. So, owner of the Pod or Tem pharmacy, which operated in the Jewish ghetto in Krakow at the time of the German occupation. His involvement in saving Jews was recognised, and he was honoured with the title Righteous Among the Nations. So basically, all the Jewish people in the ghetto would come here for clandestine meetings, they would come here for medication, etc. And this was the only non-Jewish business that was allowed to operate really inside the ghetto at this time. So it's a really historic building. Yeah, reading the story here, so the guy who ran the pharmacy, during the liquidation of the ghetto, etc., he would give parents medication to help their children sleep. He would be smuggling food into the ghettos as well, and be passing on information of what was going on in Krakow as well to help everybody here. So a really special place. Good to see it's been recognised. It's quite sad to see all these empty chairs depicting, but all the people who had to leave here for various reasons, and then obviously it was liquidated, and the rest of the people went to the camps, and then obviously some people escaped through Oskar Schindler's factory as well. But now the Jewish quarter it's been regenerated in a way, so let's head into the Jewish quarter a wee bit. I'll show you a wee bit more in here, but yeah, what an interesting building with a very special history. Yeah, quite different to see this in the channel, but I think it's important to show it since I'm here. Okay, we're just heading now to Oskar Schindler's factory. I think Google Maps is taking me this way. I'm not quite sure if this is the correct way through this wee tunnel, but we'll wait and see. I'll head back to the Jewish quarter if I've got time, and hopefully we'll see the kind of regeneration of it. I was planning to go there, I've just run out of time in the darkness now. Let's see where we end up. Okay, we're just going up to Oskar Schindler's Enamel factory just in a wee second here. That's a very popular supermarket that's all around Krakow. It's good to see this area, but it's kind of regenerated a bit. We've got a lot of hotels, a few bars and restaurants as well. But it's pretty powerful when you walk by here down this street, and this is just outside the city centre. I mean, it's virtually in the city centre. So yeah, it's pretty emotional. I mean, if you've not seen the film Schindler's List, it doesn't matter what religion you are or anything like that. It was innocent people who were persecuted. And I know the current situation all around the world, I'm going to get comments all the time about this and that, but at the end of the day, this was absolutely tragic. And Oskar Schindler's responsible, I think, for saving over 1,000 people, 1,000 Jewish people. He basically started off, as I mentioned earlier on, he did start it for profit. Jewish people were cheaper to employ than Polish people. They were on a lower set wage because obviously what the Nazis had done. and he brought the people in, and they could see the conditions they were living in, the health conditions they were in. Obviously he built up relationships with them, and then over time he realised he could save a lot of lives. He could stop them going out to the camps and stop them going elsewhere. Even when they tried to move them from here, he built a wee sub-camp next to it to keep them in better conditions than they would be if they're in the ghetto. So it's a really sad story, but it's good to see this area now. It's got life back in it, and you can still go and visit the museum. I'm too late to visit the museum. I'm always turning up late to things, as you know. So let me show you where I am. A couple of nice wee bars and restaurants here. This food smells fantastic, and it's just amazing to think, obviously, the history of this place. I think it got shut down, I need to check, but maybe 1943 it got shut down, and then they moved it somewhere else, and they took some of the staff with them, some of the Jewish staff. Saved their lives basically, because otherwise they were getting taken to Auschwitz or other concentration camps. So it's an absolutely amazing story. It's very touching on the wall here, all the people who have been saved, who basically were here, and they're on the wall. Not everybody, but many of them. I think looking at the records, it says there's about 1,100 people they thought who were saved through basically Oskar Schindler. And there's people of all ages here, all ages. If you've seen the start of the video where they were all queuing up, just round the corner from here, round the corner, queuing up to get stamped to see if they were fit to work, etc. And if you weren't fit to work, you were going to a camp. And then basically, this place is responsible for saving so many of these people, and they've now lived on. Children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, there's still generations now going. It stretches over there as well, so yeah, it's a very, very important place, I would say. The museum, I think, is just shut. Let me just show the opening hours. It's actually on quite late, it's on until 8 o'clock, and it is 8 o'clock just now, I think, so it's just shutting down. Yeah, that's a really important place, I would say there. Okay, I did plan to go to Schindler's List Passage as well in the other memorial, but I think I'm going to run out of time in this one. We'll see if we can head into the Jewish quarter. We'll show you just kind of modern day what it's like now. It's frightening to think round the corner from here, round the corner, they basically built walls to keep in the Jewish people, and there was 15,000 people in the Jewish Ghetto. It was designed for 3,000 people. Conditions were terrible, absolutely shocking. And then they built the wall, and the interesting thing is, sad actually, that a lot of people didn't even try to escape, because apparently they were so terrified, obviously, of the Nazis that they didn't know it was over the wall, etc. The wall wasn't that tall. It was tall enough, but you could have maybe go over it if if you really wanted to. But it was just so sad to think of the conditions that they lived in. And then eventually, when they obviously terminated the ghetto and they just went in, they're rounding everybody up, everybody's escaping. And that's what I was talking about earlier on, the pharmacy. It helped to save people's lives as well. And yeah, it's a sad story. But it's good to see there is new things opening here. It's Oslo, another wee food place. I think there's another wee place there as well. I don't know what's happening. I don't think that's part of the factory, maybe just a building. Maybe it was part of the factory, I don't know, but obviously it looks a bit shut now. There's some sort of train station around here as well. Okay, let's see if we can head to somewhere else in the Jewish quarter. I don't know if I've got time. It's getting dark now, so we'll wait and see. And I've no idea where I am, to be honest with you, but it's amazing just around the corner, Oskar Schindler's factory. It's I think if you come to Krakow, you have to come and visit these places. I didn't make it to Auschwitz, but I'm glad I came here. Yeah, just walking about here, there's so many nice buildings. Very peaceful vibe, very relaxed. Don't know if I'm going over that bridge or not 100% sure, but there's so many nice places just here. People just sitting out and having a wee drink, a bite to eat. Heading somewhere else to do another video, but I think I'd like to come back here. I don't think I've done it justice. There's quite a few places I've not seen yet. A lot of these very good statues here as well. Look at this. Check this guy out. I wonder if I'm going over here, I'm heading up there. Look at these people up in the hot balloon. What's going on here? On you go, mate. Used to ignore the zebra crossing. One thing I'll tell you, Google Maps does not work in Krakow. It's getting lost constantly. Yeah, so pretty sad, some of the history there, isn't it? Pretty sad. But yeah, I can't really say any more about it really. Can't really say any more about it. A nice car there, eh? Some beautiful buildings down there. What's that building up there, the big tower? I don't know. Right, I need to get my bearings and figure out where I'm going here. Am I going to cross the bridge or down that way? I don't know yet. There's a lot of bikes here. Check out the guys in the balloons, they've been up there all afternoon. Oh look, they've got a separate one for bikes. Bikes here, pedestrians here. Ah, it's nice here, eh? Nice. You can stay here a wee while. Interesting stuff up here on the bridge. All these wee sculptures here. A wee boat tour down there. In case you're wondering, this is getting filmed on the DJI Pocket Osmo 3. Still getting used to the camera. It's quite annoying at times. It doesn't move as fast as the Pocket Osmo 2 regarding filming things if you have to move the camera down. But the quality, as you can see, is very good on it. Very good. Right, down there just chilling out. The wee boat tour, that looks like a wee bar and restaurant down there. If I've got time, maybe I'll go in, maybe I will. Wait and see. Oh, guy walking me, running his dog there. Get a fright of my life, a dog flying by me. Yeah, look at the sculptures there. The balloons moved right across there, look. They're heading over to the right here.